Welcome back to Crime O'Clock on Typically Unique. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hopping right on over for our Idaho 4 intermission from the Lindsay Clancy case. Some of you are just listening. Hi, Becca. That's okay. Hi, G Bean, Mystic. All right. Jen, hello. I know it's a work day. Hi, Blue Devil. I appreciate you guys. If you can only listen, thank you. Thank you. So, we have important information to go back over. And if you did not catch our live, oh my gosh, I can't remember what night we did it. Maybe last Thursday night, Wednesday or Thursday night. Accomplished Day was on. Logan, Dago, Connor. We had Accomplished Day show a second system that Moscow Police Department seems to be using to house their data, the records that we are requesting when doing a FOIA. And so I looked that up and learned a little bit about that. And then what made me think of this? Oh, I know that they tell us that they're using a Spillman system. So I'm like, I did a show on that. Like, I know I did a show on Spillman, and I went back through all my old videos and lives, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, I know I looked this up. So I must have looked it up and never did a show on it. I don't know, or it's buried in some show that I didn't title the right way. However, I was confusing Spillman with something else. So there's actually 3 systems involved in storing different types of data and information when it comes to the government, the prosecutor's office, the law enforcement, police department, and the evidence custodian, all handling everything. So I want to break it down and understand it first, and then use some resources to really define it or understand what they are. So first we're going to start with, I gotta, give me 1 second. Okay. We have to do some illustrating like we do, right? Using the inspector. There it is. Okay. So the first thing that I stumbled onto is a system called, so this will be number 1, and it is called PkB. Capital P, small b, large K. And this stands for prosecutor by, can you see it? Carpel. And I don't know which hearing it was, but one of Brian Kober's hearings, pre-trial that we were gearing up for, Ashley Jennings was being questioned about, it was probably for discovery, I would imagine. And she mentioned we use a PBK system. And I caught her saying that, and I was like, wait, what is that? I'm interested in that. What are they doing with this? Because there was issues with the discovery, and to me, in the year 2022, 2023, up until today, we've had systems kind of like a Microsoft Teams, right? You might be familiar with that, or a Google Drive, right? Those are easy access to the general public that we can use for an affordable price to organize our documents, our videos, our photos. And that seems to be what this is. It's a system like that. It's a software, okay? Hey, Jethro, a troll. No trolling in here, though. No trolling in here. I have teacher handwriting, but this is not my best. Not my best. So this is like a software. And you would enter into it, you would have a username and password, and you would have access to upload documents and also retrieve documents, okay? And I didn't understand why. So they probably have folders, right? Now this could potentially be the system that Whitcomb is talking about being able to see things in. And it was Turvey, Dr. Turvey described that every time he entered a system, and I think he compared it to a Google Drive, although I don't think that's exactly what he said it was. I think he was comparing it to that. I would have to go back and check. When he would enter it, he would go to log in, and then it would send Ann Taylor a message that he would have to get a code. So I don't know, maybe that was separate, but I always questioned, why couldn't they give Ann Taylor access to this and she would just see, what they put in there, instead of she would have to go to their office and like be handed like a DVD or an SD card or a flash drive. Like, that's so archaic to me. This should have been easier access. So Ashley Jennings and Bill Thompson and everybody in the prosecutor's office, they get everything, all of their like briefs that they're creating, all of their all the court documents, okay? Instead of them being stored on a shelf as a physical piece of paper, they're just housed in this software system. Okay, so that's PBK. And that is for the prosecutors. But that's important when we're talking about discovery. So I guess I'll add that over here. To me. This is all my understanding. This is the way I'm interpreting it. The second thing we have is Spillman. And it's called Spillman Flex. And this is this is also software. And this is what law enforcement uses. So all the cops. And they're using this like their whole shift. So police officers, they are using this in their cars. They're using this in their office. And this is where they write their reports. This is where they call each other and communicate with each other. So if you've seen other creators get CAD reports, I forget what that stands for. Call something. I'd have to look it up. That'd be a quick Google. But the CAD reports are kind of like their call logs, like their communication logs. And I think Connor just he posted something a while ago, I believe, with the communication with Brett Payne. Remember, Brett Payne was communicating with everybody. So that would be done in a Spillman Flex software. Is Accomplished Day in here? Hey, girl. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. She says, do you all know how many people are sending back their denied requests and saying, search the SYNology server? Hey, I just sent them a message because I put in a request on July 8th. It is August 24th. And I'm still waiting. I paid the half deposit and they told me I was fourth in line 2 weeks ago. So they haven't put out 4 interviews in 2 whole weeks because I should be the 5th one. So whoever else is waiting, if you're one of those 4, you should be getting them. And then I should be number 5. Amber's not returning calls or texts. I'm sure they're completely overwhelmed, but that's not our problem. That's a them problem. Hopefully they are hiring more staff. All right. So Spillman is what the police are using to communicate, all the things I just told you, but also it is storing digital evidence. Okay, digital evidence. So, number 1 would be all of the interviews. All of the interviews. What did I leave out? The R. All of the interviews that they have done. Photos. Phone data. Like just all the records, everything digital is in this Spillman, or so we thought. That's what we thought. So when we are doing records requests, this is the system that they have been searching. Okay. This is like the OG system, right? Things should be in there. 43 watching, 17 likes. Please hit that like button, please. I appreciate it. And share this out. This is going to be important information. So, on our show the other night, what Accomplished Day shared was from the EWU lawsuit, right? There were 2. What do we want to call them? They were not, I want to call them affidavits. Is that the right word? 2 statements, like an affidavit. One from Tim Smallridge, the records custodian, and one from Dollinger. And they both described another system. However, so this one that we just discovered is called SYNology. But this one is not software. This is an actual device. This is hardware. It's a physical box. And we're going to look at it. Thank you, Jen. We got bling, bling, jewels, silver star. Thank you. So this is like an actual box. And let me see if I have mine. Let me show you. What did I do with it? It's in here somewhere. Give me one second. Okay. This is a Seagate, and this is called an external hard drive, and it's just got a USB cord on it, and this can hold 2 terabytes of data. Okay. This does not connect to the Wi-Fi. This has nothing to do with the Wi-Fi. It just connects to my computer. So it's like a USB, when you use a USB flash drive, it's just holds more. It holds more. So we're not talking about this. We're talking about a box that actually connects to the internet. So you have to take your internet cable and plug it into this box. Okay? So you plug in the internet. So you have your computer over here. Here's your computer. And you have this box over here, the SYNology box. And this is plugged into your internet, and this is plugged into your internet. And then they can talk to each other. They connect. Okay, so you can send stuff back and forth. This is my understanding. We'll watch a little video clip about it, but I mean, since this is connected to the internet, I would assume you could program it to do all kinds of things, right? I would assume. So if they have, here's how this goes. Here's their computer at MPD. They have Spillman. Spillman is set up on their computers. All, their computers have Spillman, and that's what they're searching when we put in records requests. But they can select evidence. They can select interviews and photos and videos, anything digital, and they can send it over here. So it's not over here. So they can put evidence over here. And we're just going to do this. You got to look at the screen, you guys, if you're just listening. They can put things over here that aren't over here. Okay. And that's how it read when we read Tim Smaldridge's report. And I'm going to have to do that on another. I'll plan that for tomorrow, just to read it again more thoroughly. Like when we did our live, we pulled it up and we read it and everything. But yeah, it's not our fault that they're doing this in a weird way. And maybe it's just an unorganized way. Maybe there's nothing nefarious about this. Nobody's accusing anybody of anything. It's just, this is the way it's looking, right? That's the way it's looking. So Spillman is software that they have downloaded on their computers, and you just pull it up and, whatever's in there, everything's in there. And then I explained the SYNology. Okay. So let's look at, instead of me just talking about it, we'll use all our different learning styles. Let me see. What do I got here? Clancy trials on break. That's starting. Oh, I told you guys, I'll have to do that later. I'll do that later. I was going to talk with my glasses in my hand, but that's for the Lindsay Clancy hearing. Okay. I'm going to get to my playlist. what do I have in here? Just, oh, I had another one. Hold on. For me to find things, I have to do a folder for like every separate little thing. Okay.
It goes without saying, we all know that cops take a lot of reports. There is no secret about the amount of paperwork that has to be done for this job. But what happens after an officer takes a report? What does our software look like?
Okay.
Of what happened. The next thing they'll do is get your fantastic weekend so far. This is one of the most walk you step by step in what our police reporting software is like, and I'm going to show you examples. Let's say you're calling because somebody stole something from you, and you are calling the dispatch center because you want an officer out there to take a report. The first thing the officer is going to do once they get on scene is grab their notepad and pen, and they're going to listen to your story and basically make notes of what happened. The next thing they'll do is get your information, like your name, your address, date of birth, usually most of the things on your driver's license, plus a phone number. The next thing the officer should do is check to see if you have any suspect information.
Okay, he's talking about the Spillman system. Okay, so it's like I said, it's used for the police. The police use it every day, every shift. But that information from the police is going into this system, and this system is massive because could you imagine every police officer on every shift for every day, if they take a report, hopefully you guys catch that joke, because when we read the Moscow Police Department incidents, it's like no report taken, no report taken, no report taken. So their calls will go into the Spillman system like, hey, I went on a call. But then if you want the details about what happened on that call, the police officers need to enter their report into the Spillman system. No report taken.
Was it somebody that you know that stole from you, or was it somebody that was unknown? Are there cameras around? There's several different factors depending on the circumstances. Then the officer is usually going to want information on what was stolen, maybe a make, model, serial number. If I can make one recommendation for you guys, please write your serial numbers down from anything valuable that you own. The reason why is because we can put that into a national database and be alerted if something is sold somewhere else. But what exactly happens after the officer leaves? Some officers like to get their reports done as soon as they clear up from their call, so they'll either go to their car and do the report, or they'll go back to the station and do it. And if the officer takes a report at the end of their shift, a lot of times they'll just wait until the next day to do it,
or they'll wait like 5 months later, a year later, and write the report. Right? Not supposed to.
It is a major case, and some departments have policies in place where if it's something like a burglary or a robbery, they have to finish that report before they go home.
How about if you have a quadruple homicide? If you have a quadruple homicide, do you think that they would have a policy in place where they would say, hey, do your reports like immediately? Do your reports immediately. That'd be a good policy.
An officer does a report in their car, a lot of times their laptop or maybe tablet, are with companies like Verizon who will supply each and every officer with an air card. This allows everybody on the road to have internet connection.
So and I'm curious if Moscow has this. Listen to this, you guys. A lot. And this would be something, those of you that like to do some investigating out there. So if you're going to use the Spillman system in your car, there are police departments who he called them an air card. I don't know. To me, it would be like a portable Wi-Fi booster box thing or something so that you can connect, so that you can have Wi-Fi in your car. So I'm curious if Moscow had that.
Connected to their in-car laptops as long as they have cellular service. Once they are connected to the internet, there is a separate program that has to be run, which allows us to connect to a VPN, or virtual private network. Basically, connecting to a VPN allows the officers to connect to their station's network. A lot of departments will use a tool like the Cisco AnyConnect. Most police software will not correctly log in or even allow the officer to log in unless they are connected to the VPN first. So you set up your computer, you connect to the internet, then you connect to the VPN, then you run the police.
Okay, those of you that are not tech savvy, a VPN is kind of like your, how do I want to say it? It's like your existence on the internet, and it hides your location, right? So you can't be tracked. And so it would allow, if the officers are getting in on the internet, any Joe Schmo can't just like get in there and see what they're doing. It's secure, so that, the sensitive information they're entering into that system is secure.
Police software. So even if you were able to get your hands on some police software, it's probably not going to do you much good without any network credentials. Those network credentials are set up by and heavily monitored by the IT department.
Now, here's what everybody talks about Brian Kohberger. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate you. Flowers. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank 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 you for the support. Thank you. Thank you.
I have 2 more thank yous I'm working on. So what I was saying, and what I have always speculated, is that if Brian Kohberger somehow was working in that special internship program with cloud-based forensics specialty that he has, and he either was granted credentials to get into this system or worked with somebody at WSU who was, who knows what has been hidden around that could be a possibility. It's plausible. And the thing that gives me a reason to say it's plausible is because I can't remember the name of the news organization, but I covered it in a previous show. There's a news article that exists that it might be the Idaho Statesman. They requested from WSU all of the documentation about Brian Kohberger and that internship. And you would expect they would get a rejection letter telling Brian, you did not get this position. And that did not exist. So they didn't get an acceptance letter, but they also did not get a rejection letter. So that's suspicious and curious to me. So this guy is saying Spillman is a secure system that we are putting all of our information in, and the only way you can get in there is with special passwords and usernames and credentials like that.
So once you're connected to the internet and then your VPN, now it's time to start the software. And like I told you guys in my last video, the software that we use is called Spillman. So that's what I'm going to be using as the examples in this video. Obviously, after you open it, the first thing it's going to do is ask for a username and password, which is given to you by your IT department. So you put that information in, you log in, then it's going to ask you which database you want to connect to. A lot of times departments will have like a live database where all the actual information and reports and stuff are at. But they can also, the IT department can set up a test database. So if you want to test certain features of the software, Most officers are not going to use that. They just connect to the live database and go on about their day. So after you click login, this notice of unauthorized activity screen pops up. You click accept, and then you wait. And usually after a couple of moments, there are two screens that pop up. The first one is what I call kind of the menu bar, and that's where you go to do your reports and stuff. The second screen that opens up is called the message center. The message center is what's probably going to be open on an officer's laptop like 95% of the time. The first screen that you see when the message center pops up is usually going to be your department's badge, the name of it, your name, and then some sort of welcome message that the administration has set for every officer to see when they log in. But pay close attention to the top. The top is what you're going to use most often. This is a row of buttons, and each one of these buttons will show you a different screen within Spillman. So if you look here at the top, field reports show you a list of options or whatever form you want to use. I don't know. I never personally use this screen.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead because we're getting the gist. So this is how the police officers use it, okay? It logs, like, this is how they communicate with the dispatch on their calls. Everything gets logged in here, okay? And then one of the interesting things is that they communicate on here, like I told you earlier. So I want to see if they get to anything else. We don't need every single. Let me see. Oh, he's talking about listening to scanners. That's just their communication. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so he's going to talk about one of the buttons at the top and doing reports.
Let's take a look at that. I usually access law from the menu bar. I showed you guys at the beginning, that little menu. So once you click that, you can search for a particular case number, or you can search for someone else's case if you're doing what's called a supplemental report to another officer's main report. So right here is the money shot, guys. This is the screen that we use or that we see when we're doing our reports. At the top, you put your case number in, you click search. All the other fields will populate with the information that dispatch put when the call originally came out. So
accomplished. You said, ooh, I know who got the internship. For both of them, because we know about the girl. Like, I know that there's a woman that got it. Like, we know that. But then I also read an article that there were two positions, and I can't remember the place. They weren't going to be working necessarily with Pullman. There was another county or police department nearby, but I can't remember what it was.
You put your complainant's information in there. Then below that, you can change the details of the call, like what state violations up when you. Anybody that's ever been wondering how cops type reports, at least those of us using Spillman, this is it. You click on this box, you type in your report. Usually at the top, you'll put your date, your badge number, name, location, was it a burglary? And then that's when your report starts. Let's say it's not.
Okay. So the bottom line with that is they have this software, cops are using it. Their reports and information and everything is being stored in this system. And then the evidence custodian has access to this system, and that's where they're just holding everything, right? There would have to be different, you would assume, you would extract their reports, right? I would go into this and I would extract every report about the quadruple homicide that happened at 1122 King Road and put them, I just stabbed myself in the face, put them in a folder somewhere. Okay, so that's Spillman. So we're going to look at now what is SYNology and how is that different? And what would they be doing with that? I was actually surprised by this. I had no idea what it was. And there's two of them. Is this the one? Beginner's guide. All right, we'll look at that one. So this is the one that's actually has to be plugged.
We are not.
Has to be plugged into the internet. Like this has to be plugged into your internet. And then it talks to your computer.
Okay, so we're going to start off with basically a hardware overview. This right here is a SYNology NAS. It is a DS925 Plus. DS means disk station, so it's kind of a desktop unit. They also make rack mount units, but the functionality is identical, just the form factor is different. On the front right here, the most important thing is our number of bays. This is a 4-bay NAS, and it is a 25 model. The reason it is a 925 and not a 425 is this also has the ability to add in a 5-bay expansion unit from this port back here. So up front are 4 slots for 3.5-inch mechanical hard drives. And the way you install them is pretty simple. You pop out the tray by just kind of flicking it open. And then right here, you've got what's called a toolless design for these hard drives. You essentially pop out these little side plastic tab things. It's kind of confusing the first time you do it. But what you do is you sit your finger right there and you pop them out. And you'll see each of them has 2 kind of pins in it. Those are used to essentially hold the hard drive in place. So you are going to take your hard drive, and what you're going to do is you're going to place.
So what he's putting in there. So he has this like basically like this empty box that's running the internet, okay? Or can make the internet flow. I don't know all the mechanics behind it, okay? But like this box that I showed you, this is a external hard drive. It's just tiny, for what it holds. He's got a much bigger thing there that probably it's how much data can you store, right? So you have to have something in that machine to actually hold on to make copies of the data and the information you're putting in there. So the empty box won't save the information until you put these things in there. So, and like he said, like Idaho, Moscow, they have 58 terabytes. This little one holds 2. Okay. And they have enough of these boxes in there to hold, 58 terabytes or more, however many they have on there.
Sit in the tray.
You can just keep expanding it and keep expanding it and keep expanding it.
And the way you know you've done it properly is when the gold teeth, that's actually what the SYNology uses to talk to the hard drive. It needs to be by the black plastic piece, just like this. And if it's like that,
you guys are so funny.
The pins will go back in when you snap them back on in. There are these rubber grommets. Don't remove those. Those just help add friction and reduce vibration.
How to assemble it. Okay.
And then as you need more space, add in extra drives, and it'll just expand out the space like that.
That's
in
what
with
I just
screws,
said.
but these, which is what this. There's 4 screw holes, exact same. For M.2, you go ahead and pretty much just kind of slot it in there like a gum stick. It's kind of hard to see on this. There's a good manual in the box that actually tells you how to do this. You just slot it in, push it down, and it should stay locked in place. Flex to it slightly, and then finally just add in pieces. Thing of a NAS, it's a hard drive where you just plug it into your computer and use it like that. This is its own computer, and the way your computer talks to this computer is through the network.
Okay, so that's the major difference. Spillman is on their computers, right? Spillman's on their computers. So that would be more transparent. That would be something more, that would be information that is out there that people would know about. Like it's public knowledge that, hey, we use the Spillman system. Our officers are using it every day. That's what we're keeping our evidence on. And that's all we've ever heard about. Okay. little did we know that you could buy this box. You could buy one of these for your house, you guys. Like, you can use this at your house and kind of set it up like your own little for movies or games, like gaming or anything like that. The difference is that is its own connection to the internet.
So to get the fastest speeds, that is over a wired Ethernet connection. So you plug this into your Wi-Fi router, and then you also plug your computer into the same Wi-Fi router. And now they can talk to each other over a wired connection. But because it's a NAS, it also works any way networks work as well. So you can also talk to it over Wi-Fi. The only downside with that is Wi-Fi is just slower than wired Ethernet. And so to get the best speeds, you always will want the wired connection. But
so think about that. Someone who has access to this could be on their phone Wi-Fi and talk to that computer and tell it what to do. So you wouldn't have to be at the office. You could communicate with this device from anywhere. That's crazy. Yes, it's a server. A server is a computer. Yeah, it's a server. Yep. It's like its own computer, and it talks to the other computers. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's my layman's understanding.
if you're only transferring a few photos, it'll work anywhere in your house or business just over Wi-Fi. There is also on this unit that expansion port.
So I could be anywhere. If I'm a law enforcement person or anybody that has access to that, I could be anywhere and send photos to it or send videos to it. I wonder if you can retrieve things from it. I would think. I'm explaining it like I'm 5.
Talking about right here, one thing to note, it is a USB-C port, but you can't plug in a USB-C hard drive into here. It will not work. It's only for expansion. And then there are multiple USB-A ports on this device, and you can plug into those like an external hard drive, which we'll get to the end of this video. I highly recommend picking up an external hard drive, leaving it plugged in this thing all the time, and just telling the NAS every night, anything that's changed, back up to that external hard drive, just in case anything ever happens. Okay.
So what he just said right there. So now think about this. Think about this accomplished, you guys. So you have the Spillman system on your computer. You have the SYNology server that is separate, but also communicating with your computer. Then he's saying, take one of these external hard drives and plug it in to the SYNology server so that this is a backup. So this is a backup. So you don't lose anything. What if you backed something up to this and then deleted it from the server? I'm just asking questions. Yes, the head, what do I want to call him? Oh my gosh, why can't I think of his official title? Records coordinator. The official records coordinator would be in charge of this stuff. Like, his job is to like organize it, manage it, find it, that kind of stuff. Yep.
So that's our basics. We pretty much have the unit.
Okay. So hopefully I was able to show the difference there and why it's so important, because here's the issue. We were putting in, I would say the community, but Accomplished Day, Connor, Logan, Christie's Chaos, Lana, Jules, like the major people that have been putting in. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. I don't mean to leave anybody off the list. Outcast, I know he's put in FOIA requests. And if they get denied, they're saying, well, they don't exist. Well, they're only saying they don't exist possibly from the Spillman system. So we're wondering, did they forget? Did they forget that they might have them stored over on the SYNology server? So we're just like reminding them that, hey, don't forget you might have this other server over there that it might be on. Could you check there? And now, Accomplished Day, now we could even ask them, could you check on any backup hard drives from the SYNology server that maybe you backed things up onto? Maybe you forgot that you put some of the files, like maybe Brian Koberger's interview, like maybe you have it backed up on a external hard drive. Maybe we could ask for that. You've sent 9. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so it's 2:04. I have one more thing that I want us to look at. Whoops, get that off. Sorry, I just put my face in the camera. This. Okay. So we all know that Moscow Police Department, right? They released all of their police reports. I think there were like 314 of them, right? Payne's affidavit is in there. And then it just goes from report number 1 all the way up to report 314. And this is also in there. And this report was called, I don't even know if they put it on here. But this one was called the General Narrative Spillman Report. General Narrative Spillman Report. So to me, that means they're talking about everything that they have in their Spillman system. Okay. So what Accomplished Day and all of us, we're talking about on the show the other night was, oh my God, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm messing with this thing and it's what we were talking about was so they're going to list everything on here that they have in the Spillman system. We want this for the SYNology server. We want this for the SYNology server, including all the backup hard drives. Including all the backup hard drives. And I just messed this up. I'm so mad when I do this. Oh, wait. There? What I'm doing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Will it show it bigger? Okay. All right. So this has information about the Spillman system, and it's all about the crime on, November 12th, 2022. So we have on record all the officers, okay? And I don't know, these subpoenas, were they subpoenaed to testify about something? I don't know. We've got record numbers. All of this should be in Spillman, all of this. You've got the responding officer, Mitch Nunes, Eric Warner, Shane Gunderson, right? It's homicide. Responsible officer, Brett Payne. Who is this received by? CC. Don't know who that is. How was it received? 911 call. Time it was reported. That's funny. They put it occurred between 11:56:31 and the call occurred between there. Okay. This report is 29 pages. And what's important about it, you guys are going to love this. And I never understood this. And this is not the only place I've seen this. Why are they redacting Tim Smaldridge? Why are they redacting his name? This is not the only report I have seen his name redacted. That's curious to me. They also redacted the medical examiner's name in one of their reports, and I don't understand that either. So this goes backwards. So if you look at these dates, these are documents that are in the Spillman system that should be in there. And they start, what was the first page? Yeah. The first page, they're all February 14th, 2025. All of these subpoenas by police officers. And then it goes down to nothing in 2024. It goes to 2023. All right. And then there's something with a threatening incident in July 12th, 2023. Why is this incident threatening? Why is that related? Why is this related to the homicides on November 12th, 2022? So if someone were to make a request about this, like this is probably a different case number. This should be in the Spillman system. To me, this is like a log of what they have. This is the way I'm interpreting it. There's another incident that's a burglary. June 21st. These are after the crimes. Brian's already taken. Wait, no, he took the plea deal in. No. But they already have Brian. We're already going to trial about Brian. And then we've got these other incidences going on, and they're saying it's related. Now, this looks like it's related to discovery. Did someone go in and steal something? Brent Kopacka. Was that Brent Kopacka? Yeah. Let's see. No, Brent Kopacka was December 14th, 22. I think that's the right date. 14th or 15th, the same day Brian left town. We've got February 7th, 23, an accident. And it's a related incident. Who's having an accident that's a related incident? Is it one of the witnesses? Is it Molly? Is it like, who is this? On November 21st, so this is Thanksgiving break probably. They had to do a welfare check on somebody. I mean, this list is very interesting. You can find it in the Moscow Police Department, their first batch. So wherever you find 1 through 50, the general, you're looking for general narrative. Oh, accomplished. You have so much information. November 4th, a controlled substance report on Ash Street. Imagine that. All right. Welfare check. January 3rd, 2023. Okay, so after Brian's arrested, we get him named in there as the offender. So as we go through this list, we're not going to have time to do it right now, but if you go through this list, Brian's interviews are in here. And look at these names. SD involved. NJ involved. Oh, wait, this person was a witness. NJ is a witness? Who's NJ and they're a witness? Wait a minute, is that involved? Yeah, NJ, witness. A witness? Maybe it's not a witness to the crime. Maybe it's a witness about information. I don't know. Clearly, we have Hunter Johnson. So all the people who came to the house, they're involved. Okay. So there's just a ton of initials in here, the victims' names. Okay. Last name first. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. But I wanted to show you some important things. So you've got the victims' vehicles. Now look over here. I'm not sure. What does is this like a VHS? V8? Oh, vehicle. These must be like images that would be stored. There's some data that is stored in this system to show the vehicles. Photos, probably photos. Okay, so where's the important part? Unless I missed it. It's not on there. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the big mama right here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we've got BK jail calls, BK jail mail, and then down here, these must be parents and sisters interviews, like Michael Koberger interview. I forget his mom's name. Interview, P redacted. What's that? Oh, the dog impound form. Is that from Murphy? That only had one page. Remember that? It only had like one page. I wonder if the rest of the pages, Jules, were you the one that who got that? I wonder if the rest of the pages are in the SYNology server, possibly. King Road videos with an S. King Road videos with an S. So it's just interesting. But if we were to ask for this, they might say, oh, it doesn't exist. You want to see the video cam itself? Yeah. Like they should have these like TikTok data. Like they should have the data electronically stored in this Spillman system. Like, they're telling us what they have. They're telling us what they have. The trial's on. Thank you. Thank you. So just know that there are 20 some pages of evidence listed in Spillman. Why didn't they just give this for the EWU when EWU said we need to know what you have? This is what they have. This is what they have. I don't know. I'm sure there are circumstances around this that maybe I don't know about. I could be misinterpreting something. All I know is for sure is that we have a report here of 29 pages with all this evidence. And we know that they use this Spillman system to hold their evidence. Okay. And then when they're telling us that it doesn't exist, and we find out that there is an external server called SYNology that could be housing some of this stuff with possible backup hard drives. We can't forget that. We can't forget that. So I just feel like that's useful information. Go check out that general narrative Spillman. And that's what I wanted to bring to you today. So I hope it was helpful. I hope it brings a little better understanding about those 3 different items that the court system in Moscow uses to hold all of their evidence, paperwork, communication, all of that stuff. So I'm going to clock out for now. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Please hit that like button on your way out. Please leave me a comment if you're watching this on replay. I greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. And please come right back for the afternoon session of the Lindsay Clancy trial. It's really good, you guys. And we are talking about it as the trial is playing and learning a lot and having a lot of opinions about it. So ending this live and starting another one. Clock it out. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. PkB.